Hey. Alright. No, guys. Hey. Twitter. Let's just put it on Twitter that I am alive. Right. Here we go. We about to start. This is gonna be painful. Oh boy, I can't wait. So, how you doing, chat? Okay, it is time to begin. Jesus. Are you ready? Oh, and I have 0 views. This is wonderful. Wonderful. Shut up. Honestly. Okay. We're gonna start. We're about to start. Alright, we're gonna start right now. That's it, right? No, it's this one. Here we go. Wait, hold on. I need to set something up quickly. The wheel. We need to set up the wheel.
I'm hiding.
Okay, that should be good. Right. It is time. We are starting now. Technoblade never dies. Wait, hold on a minute. I don't want to do anything to do that. Technoblade never dies. 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 This is gonna be a long thing. Technoblade never dies. 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 Blade never dies. Technoblade 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 never dies. Alright, the first 100.
Yay!
Oh, this is painful. Stop screaming! Oh my gosh. Technoblade never dies. 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 Can I say techno never dies, or do I have to say Technoblade? I'll just say Technoblade. Technoblade never dies. 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 No. Technoblade never dies. 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 Oh my god. I've got so much to go, and it's been 15 minutes.
Yeah?
Yikes.
What? No, because they camped it.
Oh boy, here we go. And I have no viewers. This is really depressing, to be honest. Hello.
Hello.
I am on a great
Alright.
endeavor today. I am saying Technoblade never dies 5,000 times.
Okay, wow.
This seems like a great
Really does
idea.
die, so you're a fucking
Dude,
dumbass,
that's
aren't you?
like
Oof.
calm
Rude.
But true.
Jeez.
Like, he does die.
I mean,
You gotta be
Yeah,
like
but
brain
you
dead
like
to think
some-
he does
you
die.
like some Technoblade,
Literally, I don't even know who Technoblade is.
that's depressing.
It's literally impossible to be immortal.
I mean, yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
not die. Don't be
Because
ridiculous.
time
But
never
you're-
ends.
Yes.
Unless you die, in which case time ends. Right there.
Wait, what? How does that work?
Okay, he's being retarded, but he's not being as retarded as I thought he would be. Yeah, this man is drenched.
I'm not joking.
Oh, hello.
I've
Please
re-
don't come after me.
He's being retarded, but he's not being as tired as he
three
would be.
smart.
Okay, so there are some players who like are especially retarded.
Uh,
Especially
oh,
retarded.
that's so sad.
There's some players that are special.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
retarded.
Like
Okay,
this one
bye.
over here, I can see.
I'm okay. Bye. I'm gonna
And this
go.
one,
Technoblade never dies. 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 Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade never dies. Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade never dies. Oh. Technoblade never dies. 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 400 out of 5,000. I'm not even a tenth of the way there.
Saliva.
Let's just continue. Technoblade never dies. 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 Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade never dies. Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade never dies. Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade Technoblade never dies. 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 Dies. Oh, I'm actually gonna die. I'm gonna lose my voice before the end of this. It's gonna be like so dumb. Alright. We out about to get some. I wanted. Technoblade never dies. 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 Never dies. Technoblade 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 never dies. Blade never dies. Technoblade 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 never dies. I'm just gonna say it another time because I think I skipped one on accident. Technoblade never dies. 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 Dies. Technoblade never dies. 600. Ow. Wow. I am really far away. This is very sad. This is epic. I know it is. Dude, you gotta I'm at 600. Technoblade never dies. 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 Should we? I'm gonna pop out the chat so I can read chat whilst I tap the button 50 times. Pop out. Okay, and then I get this. Put that there. And put that there. Here we go. Technoblade never dies. 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 Let's see if I get any more emotional support. Nope, I get no emotional support. This is depressing.
No.
Anyway, back to this. Technoblade never dies. Technoblade never dies. Wait, I can do this. I didn't know that. Oh, it looks better now. Technoblade never dies. 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 It's 666 so far. 666 out of 5,000. Oh my gosh. What am I doing with my life, honestly? What am I doing?
Wonder who's going to be the killer next round. That's 10. My meat counts as 28.
Oh, hello, Skeppy's water. You're literally Skeppy's water. I am watch your stream. That's nice. Technoblade never dies. 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 700 out of 5,000. We're actually starting to do it. Well, I am. You gotta support this dude. Don't donate. Please don't donate £50. Just don't. Just like. There's these. Just ignore these. Don't. Yeah, these are things, but just please no. Oh, if you're wondering what the wheel is, the wheel minus 1,000, minus 100, minus 500, minus 100, minus 500. Yeah, and it's got two positive ones. See, those are all the options that can happen. It's not very fun. I don't like that. Technoblade never dies. 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 No blade never dies. Technoblade 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 never dies. Hey guys, can I have a water break or should I just carry on? Technoblade never dies. 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 Technoblade. Ow! My mic fell. I think I should calm. Technoblade never dies. 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 Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade never dies. I am at 777 after a solid. How long has it been? What do I see? Third half hour. Where?
I got a computer. Please. He's hacking.
I wanna die. I've not even been streaming that long, and I've already. It's like I've been streaming for half an hour. Ow. Oh no! We need some friendly meme. Technoblade never dies, Technoblade never dies, Technoblade never dies, Technoblade never dies, Technoblade never dies. When we get to 1,000, I'm going to get some water. Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade never dies. Technoblade never dies, Technoblade never dies, Technoblade never dies, Technoblade never dies, Technoblade never dies. Technoblade never dies, 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 and I just missed two. Technoblade never dies, Technoblade never dies. Technoblade never dies, Technoblade never dies, Technoblade never dies, Technoblade never dies, Technoblade never dies. 155 more until I can get water. Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade never dies. 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 900 out of 5. I'm in so much pain. Ow. Technoblade never dies. 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 Imagine how annoying this would be if I was muted the whole time. If I was muted the whole time, I'd actually die inside, because that would be so annoying. £10 to spin the wheel of... I don't know. Technoblade never dies. 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 I'm gonna call the group and see if they can give me some assistance. Oh, let's... Anyway, we got 100 more until I get a break. Technoblade never dies. 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 Okay. Technoblade never dies. 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 Never dies.
Yeah? Why? Well, you put on me smacking you.
Technoblade never dies. 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 Technoblade. Technoblade never dies. 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 First, we're 1/5 of the way. Yay! Ow! I swear that took me like an hour to do. Cool. dies is the thing. Goods. Mm. Okay, I think we should get back to it.
Yeah, play Granny. Play Granny.
Here we go. Technoblade never dies. 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20. Technoblade never dies. 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 Oh, I just forgot to add like 8. That's how many I think it said. Yeah, I'll be good. I'll just say a couple more and not press anything. Technoblade never dies. Technoblade never dies. Okay. Technoblade never dies. 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 1, 1, 1, 1. We have reached the goal. Oh,
no, insane.
oh.
I'm gonna know.
Let's figure out who's actually doing this, because this is like really annoying, you know. Okay.
Granny spider.
Nope. Okay. Technoblade never dies. 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 Now, I've suffered so much. I really don't want this to get filled up. I change this so I don't get bombarded if someone decides that they want to spam me with them. Let's make it 20 quid instead. And let's make the reset double the price. Overall, reset, counter, and after 07/24/2019. Oh, it has to be, oh, okay, so 25th. 24 hours to go. That's a lie. It's actually got like 3. I've been live for almost an hour. I've not made much progress. I've only got 1,000 out of 5,000. Technoblade never dies. 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 Do you guys want music? Should I get some background music? Let's just get some family friendly NCS. This is all copyright free. There we go. Technoblade never dies. 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 Oh, I don't have my chat open because I'm smart. Technoblade never dies. 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 Never dies. Technoblade 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 never dies. I'm gonna turn this down because I cannot hear. Here we go. Technoblade never dies. 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 Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade never dies. 1,222 out of 5,000, let's go. By an hour, I want to get to 1,500. Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade never dies. I got 7 minutes to get to that. 1,500. Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade never dies. Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade never dies. Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade never dies. Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade. Nah, this is fun, isn't it? Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade never dies. Shut up. Technoblade never dies, Technoblade never dies, Technoblade never dies. Don't know, he doesn't die. What do you mean? I mean, he died in Minecraft Monday a bunch. I think. Well, probably. I mean, Skeppy did win Minecraft Monday. But I don't know, man. I'm just saying this 5,000 times, and then I might do this again soon and say Skeppy. What if I did Skeppy never dies instead 5,000 times as well? That'd be... Wait, no, why did I say that? Oh, this is a terrible idea. Oh well, let's just continue. Technoblade never dies, 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 Team 14, Skype plus the dream team, dude. Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade never dies. But what would happen to Saint of Games? Technoblade never dies, 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 Blade never dies. Technoblade 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 never dies. Why is Techno such a god at Spleef? It's his main game, dude. Spleef is his main game. Oh, excuse me. Technoblade never dies. 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 Bad Boy to Halo plus A6T equals Team Baguette. Sounds intriguing. That's what the thing is, right? Hold on, let me check. Where did I put it? I swear I have sub. TLGH never dies. Yeah, that's for a different thing. I never die. Skeppy, A16 next episode. Skeppy sucked me into Minecraft. Bad Boy Halo sucked me into Minecraft Monday. Wouldn't the best team just be with Keemstar though? Wouldn't that'd be your main idea, wouldn't it? Just like put it with Keemstar. You just can't lose. Cause it's Keemstar, dude. Ah, look at that. There's a sub count. Let's put it up here. Why does it keep saying that every like 15 seconds? That is rude, dude. Okay, let's continue. Probably. Okay, Chandler wins it on it. Imagine that would happen. Imagine if that would happen. That would be like insane. Alright, so let me continue for a bit. Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade never dies. I tried asking Techno on Twitter to come watch this. It didn't work. I really doubt it would have if he even saw it. This is great. You should just start spamming him with like, hey Technoblade. Why does it keep saying it? Shut up, bot. Yeah, go on timeout, noob. It's so annoying. Let's go to Techno. Techno. How do I send him messages? I can't send him messages? Are you serious? Rude. Hey, I'm be unfriend zones done. Ah! I just dropped my mic for the 5th time in a row. That's how you know I'm smart. Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade never dies. Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade never dies. Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade. Technoblade never dies, Technoblade never dies, Technoblade never dies. I'ma keep typing so you can't get to 5,000 just like Carson 7. Now, I don't get why people were so angry at him. I mean, it was just a joke. They both were agreeing to it, and now, it's just messed up, dude. Technoblade never dies. 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 Who? Carson? No, he won't. Technoblade never dies. Technoblade never dies. Technoblade never dies. Because they both agreed to it. They were both be doing it as a bit, but it just sounded awkward. And taking a shower is like way too toxic for some reason. Technoblade never dies. 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 Click the space bar because I typed Technoblade never dies. Ah yes, this is definitely how this works. Technoblade never dies. 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 Honestly, I'm not sure how I removed 500. You noob, you have to do. Yep. No, it's globe with meridians. It's all about globe with meridians, dude. Globe with meridians. Technoblade never dies. 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 Why is that the thing? Technoblade never dies. Technoblade never dies. Technoblade never dies. Never dies. Technoblade never dies. What's my Discord name? It's TLG. Technoblade never dies. Technoblade never dies. Technoblade never dies. Technoblade never dies. I have a Discord. You can join that. It's in the description. Also, subscribe to all the people in the description. They're pretty neat. Well, okay. Technoblade never dies. 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 Technoblade. Meow, meow.
What did you think the first time you met your sister?
I thought she was really cute.
What?
Shut up.
I did the vagina across the road
Why?
to get dick.
Wow.
Why is it called Burger King? Why isn't it Burger Queen?
Oh, okay. This is what suffering feels like. This is pain. This is just pain. Ow. Cool. Ow. I dropped my microphone again. Right.
A move.
Technoblade advice, 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 Technoblade advice. Technoblade advice, Technoblade advice, Technoblade advice. Oh. Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade never dies. Blade never dies, Technoblade 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 never dies. 3, 4, 5. No. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Technoblade never dies, Technoblade never dies, Technoblade never dies, Technoblade never dies. 1666. We are I'm very slow. I've been going for an hour and 12 minutes. Why am I doing this? Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade never dies. never dies. Technoblade 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 never dies.
That I think we
Technoblade never dies.
I get this. Where am I running? That's breaking out me.
I'm sorry, but I gotta take a break. Right, we're back at this. Jesus. Right, we're back at this. Jesus. Cloudbot. Can you like Cloudbot? Can you like It must be an integer. Add timer. I'm joking. I would never do that. Anyway, let us commence. Can I? That's my chat. And Technoblade never dies. 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 Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade never dies. Right, let me just get this Discord thing. That's cool. Disk forward. Right, anyway. Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade never dies. What? I'm not in a chat, am I? Well, let's go to my general chat, see if anyone wants to chat. Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade never dies. 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 It's almost 2 hours. Technoblade never dies. 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 Technoblade Blade never dies. Technoblade 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 never dies. And Techno never dies. Technoblade 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 never dies. Let me open shut again. get back to it in a second. I just gotta do something quickly. Oop, it's full too. Oh, I don't have the core. I don't have the core for that. It's back to counting now. Technoblade never dies, 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 Technoblade never dies.
Oh, I did it again, but I wasn't expecting to. And again!
I'll go in here. Okay. Technoblade never dies. 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 Technoblade never dies.
Alright. I hear you, brother.
Oh. I'm saying it 5,000 times on a stream.
We're streaming right now. Oh,
I
okay,
am.
nice.
It's a very high quality stream. I also want to.
Alright, mate. I'm gonna leave you, okay? Enjoy your streaming.
Okay. Anyway. Technoblade never dies. 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Technoblade never dies. 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 Here's a little lesson in trickery. Let's get a notepad. Technoblade never dies. 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 So that's 2, 3, 4, 5. $42. Great, now I have to tap this 42 times. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 40, 41, 42. Technoblade never dies. Technoblade never dies. Technoblade never dies. Technoblade never dies. Oh, Technoblade never dies. Technoblade never dies. So it's like 5 at the moment. Technoblade never dies. 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 Never dies. Technoblade 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 never dies. That should be enough. 49. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. That's 47. That's 46, 48. 46, 47, 48, 49. No, I didn't say 47. Technoblade never dies. 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 Technoblade. Technoblade never dies. 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 I'm only going halfway. I'm only going halfway. It's not worth my time to go 5,000. I don't have the time to go for 5,000. I could go halfway and maybe finish this off in a different stream, but not today. Sorry. Technoblade never dies. 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 Technoblade Technoblade never dies. 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 Yeah, I can't do anymore now. I'm done. Sorry, but that's like really painful.